Au revoir, monsieur. I was in the café. Hop, pardon. Allez-y, je vous laisse rentrer. Bonne soirée. Ah, j'ai oublié mon parapluie. Pardon, non, j'ai oublié mon parapluie. I forgot my umbrella. Attends, j'ai oublié le parapluie. S'il se remet à pleuvoir, je vais être embêté. Allez. Au revoir. Ah. Hello, everybody. I went to a cafe because it was a little bit bonjour, Tisha. Hello again. You like the Marais yourself. Hello, Suzanne. So I went to a cafe because it was so cold and rainy, moreover, so humid. You enjoyed yesterday? So you're going to see it today, but very different because yesterday we did it. We did with Tewksbury Library. We did it at the sunset, and tonight we are going to be by the night. So it's going to be a very different vision and version of this district. I just wear my gloves because it's cold. So by holding the gimbal, it's cold. Hoopla, here it is. Now you see, I'm nearly a pro. I launch YouTube like if I was opening I don't know, my door at home. Hello, Catherine. Hello, Nathalie. Hi, Adrian. Just received your library tour. Oh, yeah, yeah. You viewed the tour from yesterday. Yes, you were in the tour yesterday too. That was nice. There were more than 300 people. Uh, Robert, the man who is in charge of these programs in the Tewksbury Library, he told me there was something like more than 500 people who booked. And he says, so usually we count around 50%. So he said we should have around 300 viewers. And there were more than 300 viewers yesterday on that tour. That Hello to Boston. That was a awesome to have got all the awesome. Awesome. Difficult words for me in French. To have it. Suzanne, say hello to Suzanne. So what time is it? Okay. Yeah. We start. We're supposed to start, but anyway, I just started a bit earlier, and we have to hurry up because we have to enter buildings before they close. That's it. 48. Yes. Okay. So I just wait 2 minutes more, and then we start. I've got my umbrella. It has been raining and raining all the afternoon. By chance, right now, it stopped raining. I look like the hunchback from Notre Dame. You can't see that, but maybe you can't. I don't know if you can see. No, I'm sure you can see. No. Look, you see, it looks like if I've got a big bump in my bag because it was so much rainy that I had to put my bag under my jacket. I put my raincoat above the bag because with the umbrella it wasn't covering it. That was terrible. Ah, so yes, some of you are the parent. Oh, good, Adrian. Yeah. It's very nice. I like that guy, Robert. I've done with him the first tour I did was a tour which was the Louvre in 2 hour, in 1 hour, and I did a webinar from home. And he's used to do webinar. So he told me what you want to do next. So I said I can do. I've got a lot of tour that I was doing on Hego or on the on Beams, which were from home webinar about art. So I said, I can do anything about paintings or whatever. I said, but have you ever tried to go in the street? We said, oh, no, we don't go in the street. The connection is not good. It's risky. We prefer to have webinar for home. I said, okay, if you want. But it's good from the street too. So finally, I convinced him to do a tour in the street and he loved it. And so when he contacted me, then he said, Patrick, can you do another tour from the street? I said, I can do the Marais. Oh, I like that. I like that. So that was quite good. And now it's working quite well. So he's asking me to do 2 or 3 tours per year, and so it's good. And the guy is buying in Massachusetts, Tewksbury is in Massachusetts, and I hope he's okay because yesterday he was going to be covered by snow. It's a public library, a Tewksbury public. But I have got a couple of library in America who have been contacting me to do tour for them. So I don't know. So far, I just done for him, and I think they works with the donation of the people from the library, and they pay me a fixed wage. When I do 1 hour like that, I ask $100, and he give me that. That is not big amount for him, and for me just 1 hour of work. So it's nice, and I'm happy to have these different audience than I have got elsewhere. So my friends, I propose we start now because I speak. I'm like a chatterbox, and you are not there to listen. To listen my voice, but I mean my voice, yes, but not to listen to see me. You are here to see about the Marais. Okay, so let's turn the video. Let's try. Look, my finger. I try to push that finger because you see it's the only one I can put. Oopla. No, it doesn't work. So I have to take out my gloves. Oh, that's going to work better. No, come on. Yes, it works. I put back my gloves. So we are in the street. You see, this is the night in Paris. It's full night, okay, so everything is lights up, and as you can see, it's very wetty. It has been raining all night and all day. Ooh, that is very, very rainy. And of course, we speak about the Marais. And first, I want to show you one of my favorite buildings in the Marais. I just repeat for the people who are not used about the Marais. The Marais means the marshes, the swamp. So it was a district in Paris which was completely swampy because at the time of the Roman, nobody were living here apart of some small house of fishermen or thing like that. And it's only going to be a little bit occupied and settled from the Middle Age, but not too much. And really, we have to wait the 1200 to when the city of Paris is going to create the city wall of 1200 to have a real part of this district, which is going to be the part of the city. But only half of it. The rest was still out of the city. But at that time, we are going to start building, which is very popular in the Marais, what we name the private mansion. So let me show you one of the private mansions from that district. And today we see it by night, and you can see it's quite nice by night. Hey, here it is. You see the buildings by night. Ah, yes, today it's not such a clear sky. You see, by night, always there is a different magic. Always the building that you see by daytime, when they appears in the light of the night, they have got something a little bit more touching, a little bit more moving, sometimes a little bit more creepy too. But that's yes, we named the city of Paris the city of light, doesn't we? Don't we? So of course, Paris deserves to get the light, and you can visit Paris in the early morning with just the sunrise, and of course you can visit Paris by the daytime. You can visit at the sunset, or you can visit by night. You can visit in winter, in summer, in spring, in autumn. Always you will have a different atmosphere, and always you will love, I hope, like I do, this city. So this building you see right now, this is the Hotel de Sens. So this is the Hotel de Sens. So why Hotel de Sens? Because that building, so never forget, by hotel, we don't mean a place where you pay to sleep, but we mean a private mansion. Okay, only the people who were belong to who it belongs were to whom it belongs were living inside. So the people who were living inside this beautiful building that I'm going down because we are behind the fence. So you see, I climb the wall to be able to show it to you. The people who are living inside that building were the bishop and the archbishop of Sens. Sens is a city which is in the neighborhood of Auxerre, Burgundy, 100 miles south of Paris. Until we have got Notre Dame, until we have got our first bishop in Paris, the clergy of Paris was not on its own. It was led by the bishopry of Sens. And when the bishop of Sens were coming to Paris, they wanted to have a house where they could live, where they could, and they were a very humble person. It's a priest. So, sorry, it starts raining again, so I reopened my umbrella. So, they were very humble and they need a very humble house. Of course, I'm joking because if that you consider it humble, so they have got a beautiful house, and that house is interesting, because it's going to be built at the end of the Middle Age and at the beginning of the Renaissance. So part of the house, like this wall you see here, sounds a bit Middle Age, with a little tower at the top. You see, sounds like a Middle-Age castle, but suddenly you look at the rest of the building and you realize it's Renaissance. Okay, because you see just at the change, the change point in between Renaissance and Middle Age. Also, sometimes you think it's look like a church. You see some entrance like this one who looks more like a church. Yes, it's normal. Why that? Because it was held by the bishops. You see here, you've got two doors and you can see the difference. You see, you've got one door which is closed, which were the entrance when it was the place of the clergy. You see, and then they made another entrance underneath, which were not anymore used as a full door. Okay, because it was not anymore used as the entrance of the clergy person here. So you can see the evolution of the change of the structure by the change of time. Because when the bishop and archbishop of Sens left the city because they didn't need to be there anymore, for the simple reason that we have got our own cathedral, Notre Dame, and so we have got our own bishopry, it means go away. And when they go away, they are going to sell the building to a queen of France, the former Queen of France, because she wasn't anymore the Queen of France. She was named Queen Mary, Mary of Medici. Have a look inside where she was living. Let's go with me. Shh. We enter inside the castle. Look at that. Look at that beauty by night. You see, that was the place where Mary of Medici was living in the end of the 16th centuries. She has been pushed away from the power by her husband, the King Henry IV, because she couldn't get any kids. So due to that, the king said, no kids, bye bye, and he married Mary of Medici. Look at that amazing building. So you see here very well the two type of architecture. You see, part of it you really see like a medieval architecture. On the other side, you see it as a Renaissance architecture. Isn't it lovely by night? It changed completely the vision of the building, no? Because you see nothing else a part of the building. You see, look that vision here. It's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I like it. Do you like it? Nobody replies. Have I got lost? Have I lost you? Where you like it? Thank you for that little heart. Oh, okay, just the time of between I question, you reply, and I see the reply. So you see, you really have got these. You see, you really have got this difference in the building. Okay, the top here, perfect. perfectly Renaissance. Okay, you see all these little house perfectly Renaissance, and boom, we go down, and here we see the Middle Age. You see, much more heavy with the broken arc, completely different. So, and when you are by daytime, there is so much light, there is so much things to see you don't see, because your eyes are always a little bit attracted by different things. But when you are by night, in fact, you can only see what there is to see here. So it means you only can see the structure of the building. And so you have got a complete different vision when you see. Uh, uh, you could force yourself, yes, Susan, of course. But you need to have got some maid and people who is going to help you to clean it because it's quite a big. And you see, when you enter nowadays, it's a public library. And so you see, when you. Okay. I lost the connection for a while because I tried to enter the building, but the building is too old, and so I lost the connection. So now it's a public library, and you see the big staircase you see inside. It's link. It's bring you to in the inside of the library. But of course, this staircase was the staircase used at the time of the castle. Hello, Delos. You see? Yes, I'm back. Yeah, I see that. Just because I tried to enter, but the walls are so thick that I lost my connection. So I went back out. Okay, so this is one of the gem, no, in this building, in the Marais. But we are going to see some of the gem. So let's go. Let's go out of the building. Oh gosh, camera is when it's raining like that, the camera is always a little bit touchy. So let's walk back in the street, but the dark street of Paris. So it stopped raining. No, not still a little bit, not too much. I keep my umbrella, and we are going to, in fact, leave Paris, what was Paris in the 12th centuries. So right now we are in the Paris of the 12th centuries, but in a couple of seconds we are going to pass by the city wall of Paris, which has been built by the king. Oh, it's very wet. Maybe I have got some. I need to clean my camera. Wait a little bit. Okay. Is it better? Yes, it's better because I must receive some water on the camera, so it makes these big blurry things on the camera. When it's raining, it's always the same. And so the king Louis Philippe, sorry, the King Philip August decided to build a city wall. And the city wall was exactly located where we are here. Okay, exactly here. So it's mean that side you were in Paris, that side you were out of Paris, and you were still in the very poor part of Paris, where we had a large part of the Jewish population who was living here. Okay, when I do my tour about the Jewish history in Paris, and especially the historical district of Jews in Paris, Le Marais, that's always where I come, okay? And you see here, we start walking in the street where all the houses are dating from the Middle Age. Of course, they have been renovated, but when you look at the ground floor of the house, you see the stone here. These stones are from the Middle Age house because all the houses in the Middle Age were built at the ground floor in stone. Oh, then you can have some wood beams. You see, look here. You've got some wood beams, for instance. See, you see the wood beams here? So you can have some wood beams. But the basement was always in stone because don't forget, we are not going to get any concrete or asphalt or bituma or cobblestone before the 19th centuries. So before that, the streets of Paris are going to be in earth. And of course, when it's rainy, it's very humid. And don't forget, we are in a part of Paris which was named the Marshes. So it's mean that at that time you had a lot of humidity here. So that's why the house were based on a stone base, and then the rest of the house was built into wood beams. So here you've got on the side here, but it's dark because it's night. You've got the city wall of Paris just behind that. I'm going to show you the entrance door. You will see much better. So we walk, and the church that you distinguish in the back over there, that church is called Saint Paul Saint Louis, one of the largest church in Paris, built in 1627 to welcome the Company of Jesus, the Jesuits, which are going to create here their first churches. So here we've got a school. The red door over there, it's a school called Lycée Charlemagne, so it's a high school. And the high school, before, it was the place where the priest and the monk of the Company of Jesus were living. But just next to that, here you have got the former city wall of Paris. You see here, you've got a tower. Look, you can distinguish here in the darkness of Paris, you can distinguish here a tower, if you look carefully. Here, you see? Here, there is a tower. It's broken, but it's a tower going very, 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 very high, completely to the top. And that tower was the entrance gate of Paris. So you have to imagine here, that street was already there in 1200. You have on one side here one tower, you had on the other side the other tower. And in between, you had the gate to go in or go out of Paris. And then after the towers, you had got the wall which was going all around to the river to protect the entrance of Paris. You can see here, you see the towers, which is broken. Okay, you can see it well, and you see it's written here. There is some, this is the ruins of the city wall of 1200. And there is a little, I don't know if you can see, there is a little drawing here, which I don't know if you can see it clearly, but show you how it was. You see, one tower, two towers, and in between the walls and the entrance of Paris. That towers is the one you see here, which is broken, and the other tower has completely disappeared, and the wall in between has disappeared. But the street is still here. You see? So imagine you are in 1200, you are arriving in front of that. Rack like that. Say, oh, hey guys, can I go inside? Please, I want to go inside the city. And you were receiving an arrow or stone on your head. So let's carry on our visit in the dark street of the Marais. And you know, the Marais is with the Latin Quarter, the oldest part of Paris where you can't find this part of the Middle Age. There is no other part of Paris apart of Le Marais and the fifth district, the fourth and the fifth district, so where you find these testimony from the Middle Age. You see the streets here are like in the Latin Quarter, so it's in small street and curved. You see, nothing is straight. And of course, Osman and Napoleon III don't like that, but they don't have enough money to destroy all Paris. And you see, you've got little passage like that, and here you can distinguish where the street in the Middle Age. You see, no sidewalk. Here we've got a new street. So you've got sidewalk and you've got a kind of asphalt on the floor and you've got the sewers on the side. But in the Middle Age, it's not the case. In the Middle Age, you've got the channel in the middle of the street. The street is curved like that, you see. And so the waters and all the garbages and everything go from the side to the center, and then there's somebody who comes with a brush to push it down to the river. So on city streets, somebody is going inside, you see this is typically the street of the Middle Age and how it was in the Middle Age. So you can imagine when you were walking inside the street, which were not cobblestone, okay? Which were not stone, which were only dried earth, how dangerous it was to walk because you have, as a pedestrian, no way to protect yourself. Well, in fact, there was a way to protect yourself because they put on the floor in the street of Paris, they were putting a kind of stone columns, a kind of a very low stone columns. So like that, the pedestrian could hide themselves behind the stone columns, and they were protected from the carriage and from the horsemen. Well, protected, not that, but not that much. But anyway, who cares? I mean, who cares? Because the rich people, they were inside the carriage or they were on a horse. So the only people which were walking were the poor. So who cares to run down a poor person? Nobody's going to complain. No, nobody is going to look after him. So it doesn't really matter. You have to think also the cost of the life on the life by itself were not as nowadays. At that time, being a poor, it was a great chance to die before 30. And you see, we're going to take this little passage, which is named Passage Saint Paul, because we are Rue Saint Paul, you see, in the 4th district. Saint Paul, because there was a church, Saint Paul. The church Saint Paul was here. You see that building, which is completely broken. That's the old church, Church Saint Paul, which is going to be destroyed to build a new one, the one we are going to go inside, the one called Saint Paul Saint Louis. And you see here, you are in the Passage Saint Paul. So it's a passage, but it's a street. Okay, a street from the Middle Age. And you see this little stone I explained for you to protect your feet by walking and by the carriage. It was there. So you see the people were putting their feet like I put mine, but opposite way, of course, because myself I put mine. But of course they were. You see, they were like that. You put your feet like that. You are upside down. Okay, it means you are. You put your back on the wall, and your feet are the opposite position. It's not very easy for me to show, but it's something like that. Okay, so you were protected by that stone. So like that, when the carriage was arriving, the wheels of the carrying was arriving, and it was working like a bumper in a pinball. So it means poof, the wheels were touching that, and you were behind, so you were protected. Clear. And we're going to enter the church built by the Jesuits, the church built by the first companion of Ignacio de Loyola in 1627. That church is the blueprint of all the Jesuit church from the Company of Jesus all over the world. And that church has a dome and doesn't have any tower. Look at it. You see that the dome of the church, no tower, on all the Jesuit church in the world are going to be built like this one. So let me close down my umbrella. And of course, we just pass quickly in the church, and I don't speak so loudly. Yes, pinball. I improved since yesterday. I don't speak loudly because we enter the church, okay? But just have the pleasure to walk through the church. Merci. Hop là. So we enter the church. Here we are. And they are going to have the mess, the service, so we are not going to be busy. I can smell the incense because it's going to have the service. You see, some people are sitting, getting ready for the service. On that church, as there is a dome and there is no having a cross transept, it has got a half circle. You see everything. Yes, absolutely. Nobody's going to ask me. I am a hunchback. You see the things. It's in a half. I'm going to show it and keep that name, Bourdalou. Bourdalou. And I want you to look on Google the man called the priest Bourdalou. And then I will tell you something more to look on that Bourdalou man because it's so funny. That man was a priest, the Jesuit priest of the church, when the church was open in the 17th centuries. And so we are just under the dome. So look at the top now. Let's go up, 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 up. And you see at the top, this is the dome. And this is the top of the dome you saw from the outside. over there at the end of the nave, of course, you've got the organ. And we are walking to the nativity scene where you see the Star of Bethlehem. The Star of Bethlehem who guided the three kings. Beautiful, no? Very serene. And the priest is here for the confession. So we leave the church and we go in the street and I open my umbrella because it's raining. Have to be careful because here it's very slippery. So I look down. You can hear the rain in my umbrella. We are back Rue Saint-Antoine, so the main street, and I'm going to show you the church from the front. And you see it's absolutely gorgeous by night. I love it by night. Let me show you. Be careful. It's like at a show time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here is the church. And you see, it's like a Greek temple. Look at that. You see the columns. Okay, because don't forget, we are at the sorry, I take out my glove, so that's why I make such a strange noise with my voice, because as I need all my hand, I take out my glove with my teeth. Not with teeth, that means my teeth. Okay, here it is. Now I can zoom on my camera. So you see, you find exactly columns like if it was a Greek temple, because at the Renaissance we reintroduce the Greek. Um, we reintroduced the antiquity, I mean, globally speaking. And so here we have got like the first level of a Greek temple. If I go up, you arrive to the second level of the Greek temple and you see some other Corinthian columns. Here, you find the church. Oh gosh, it's difficult to get the umbrella and get my camera and take my hand. You see the clock. On the clock, you can see the date, 1627. This is the datation of the building of the church. Okay. And if I go up, I go to the third level. And what do I discover at the third level? I discover, if I can zoom, yes, I can. You discover the crown of the king, because yes, the king is completely at the top of the church. But what do you have above the king? You can distinguish there is a cross, because God is above the king. So you see, you've got the hierarchy of the human, if I can say, the cross with God and the Christ, then the king, and then completely down, we. We, the normal people from the parish. Ah, yeah, I think it's beautiful. Thank you to find it beautiful too. I don't know what happened to the connection because I see 30 people, 40 people. So I don't know. Maybe somebody comes and say, "Oh, that's a stupid tour." I go back, I go out, or I don't know how does it work. Anyway, 31, yeah. But suddenly I saw 40. So I don't know if suddenly 10 person arrive, they just hear me laughing and they say, this is not serious, we better go out. So anyway, let's carry on. So we are in Street Saint-Antoine, and of course I want to bring you by night to the Hotel de Silly and to finish our visit by night to the Place des Vosges. That's where we are going to end our tour. But first we need to walk to there. And so the Rue Saint-Antoine is a street which is dating from the Middle Age. So most of the houses in the street are from the Middle Age. It means narrow house, 2 rows of windows, and quite high, 5, 6 floors. You see, like the house like that. You see, 2 rows of windows, and then 5 to 6 floors. And in the middle of this house, we are going to get the private mansion from the Renaissance. And one of the most beautiful, maybe the most beautiful to be honest, here in Paris is going to be the private house of the Duke of Sully. Sully was the Ministry of Finance, so he's not Captain Sully who landed to the Hudson River, even though it's written the same way. But I promise you, he's not from the same family. So the Duke of Sully, he's going to build his house, you see, right here. And you see from side, this is Middle Age houses. And here, he's going to destroy the Middle Age houses and he's going to build his little castle, the mansion of the Duke of Sully. So you can see from the outside, it's completely different. It's only 2 floors plus one attic. 1 floor, 2 floor, one attic. Different and from the other one. And of course, the size, the height of the floor are so high that you only have got 2 floors when here you can get 3 already. This is typical from the house from the Renaissance. So we are going to try to cross. I just passed by here because there is a biking and it's dangerous. So I'm going to go to the pedestrian crossing where I can cross in security. Because by night and with the rain, sometimes the bikers have got a little trouble to stop. So I prefer not to take any risk. So we arrive in front of Hotel Sully. You see it's written. You see the large big door, which is in fact what we name a porte cochère. Why porte cochère? Because that's the place by where the carriage was entering, and the carriage was entering with a coachman at the top, and to avoid the coachman hit his head here, you know, the door was very, very tall, and they were opening the hood part of the door, so like that, the man at the top of the coach could enter inside. So let's enter the Hotel de Sully like if we were king or queen at that time and we want to go inside. Welcome home. So this is the inside of the Hotel de Sully. Ah, yes, my friends, it's going to look so different by night that you will see it by day. So first, if I turn my gimbal, you see we entered by here. The street is above there. Here, you've got the cobblestone of the Hotel de Sully. And the top of it, you've got what we call the ceiling in box, a box ceiling. You see, it's like little boxes. So the guards were from both sides of the door. When you were entering, they were closing the door. When the door was closed, you see, you are in your private property, in your private mansion. And here, you are inside the main square. Look at that. Look at that. Wonderful by night, isn't it? So the carriage was arriving and was parking like nowadays, you see. Well, nowadays we don't have horse and carriage, we've got bikes and car. But at that time, that's where was the carriage parking. So the people were going out of the carriage and the carriage was parking here. The carriage was parking here. And then you were welcomed by Mr. and Mrs. Duke and Duchess of Sully, which were waiting for you at the top of the staircase over there. And you've got here the perfect example, the absolutely perfect example of the architecture of the time of the Renaissance. So you've got the ground floor, which was the floor to receive the people, the reception floor. So you had the dining room, you had everything. Then you had at the first floor the private apartment where Mr. Sully and his family was living. And you had at the top floor the attics where the maids, the servants, and the gardeners, I mean, everybody which were working for the house of Sully was living. A little house in the attic, I mean, a little bedroom in the attics. Okay? And it's Renaissance. So Renaissance means Barocco. Barocco means heavily decorated. Look at that. You see? Lots of decoration, lots of sculpting around the doors, around the windows, little angels, little flowers. You see? All the windows are heavily decorated. Triangles like a Greek porch. And at the top, look at these windows. Beautiful. So this is typically from the Renaissance. And we love to have the, remember, antiquity. How do we have the antiquity in such a building? We have the antiquity not by the columns, but by the iconic statue of the four elements of life for the Greek. Here it is. One of the statue is representing the fire. The fire, you have got a little dragon right here at her ankles, because the dragon, of course, is he's making the fire from his mouth. So this is the fire that we need to cook and to heat ourselves. Next to it's the wind. So the lady here, she's representing the air, because the air, that's what we need to breathe. And here there is a little chameleon. I don't know if you can see, but here, let me zoom on it again more, a bit more. Okay, I can do better than that. So here at her ankle, you've got a chameleon. Why a chameleon? To represent the air? Because at that time, yes, it sounds so funny, but at that time, the people liking, were thinking that the chameleon changed the color not by his decision to protect himself, but by the fact he was receiving air on his body. So that's why they decided that the air is represented by a chameleon. And if I turn my gimbal to go to the other side of the structure, sorry, it's a little bit blurry because I turn quickly. You've got two other statues. Here it is. One statue here, you see a lion, and above the lion, you are going to see another lady who is holding food. This is the earth which is feeding ourselves where we live in. And the other one, maybe the simplest one to understand what it is, it's a naked lady, like a goddess, who is pouring water. You see, there is a water jug, and there is another water pot here. Of course, this is the water that you need to drink. So you see, all that are the elements of life represented by the icon, represented by the four elements of life in the Greek mythology. But we also get something from the Egyptian myth. Did we have an advance notice of the tour? I just got. Yes. Linda, you get when you receive my newsletters. In my newsletters, I write all the tour I'm going to do during the month, and I put the link. So if you read the newsletters, you see all the tour that I program in January, and I send the newsletters end of this before I went for Vietnam, so mid of December. And then of course you've got YouTube, which is telling you the rest of that. So here you see you've got something coming from the Egypt. It's not a sphinx, because the sphinx it's a lion, so a male. But look at that one. She has got boobs. And she has got a woman's face. And so you see, she is in fact a lioness, not a lion, a lioness. Well, they show the lioness with the boobs, in case you don't understand. And you show a lady, so she's a sphinx. The sphinx, she's the lady of the sphinx, okay? Well, anyway, it doesn't exist, so it doesn't really matter. And look at that here inside. You've got that ceiling. Look at that ceiling. I just show it to you. I just show the bonjour. Look at the ceiling, how beautiful it is. You are in the library here of the National Monument. So you've got it's a fabulous library where you find all the books about all the important building in France which are protected by the National Monument, which is part of the Ministry of Culture, if I make it simple. And you see here, you are inside the house, and you see the ceiling is absolutely gorgeous because it's all in wood beams, but you see they are all painted. It's gorgeous. I think it's gorgeous. I hope you think it's gorgeous too. So you see, you were maybe in the dining room. I don't know if it was a dining room here. Bonjour, vous savez, c'était la pièce ici, elle était à quel usage? Vous savez pas? Vous parlez pas. Non, non, je vous demande à vous, pas à la caméra. No. So the man doesn't know what it was used for. But I think maybe the dining room. I'm not sure about that, but it was one of the rooms where people were receiving the other one. Okay, so let's go. Bonne fin de journée. And so now we are still inside the building. You see, look, to go from one floor to the other floor, under the staircase, you've got all these beautiful stucco. And you see, if you go to the staircase to the top, you see, you find again these absolutely beautiful. Everything was decorated like that. Okay, so this is the floor where you were welcoming the visitors. And then, as the people wanted to have their own privacy and their own intimity, they also have their own garden. So this garden you've got here is the private garden of that house. Okay, it's not a public garden. It was a garden which was used by the family of Sully and by the relative people who were coming to visit them. And look, a lady goes inside like a princess. And you see, it's a typical French garden because you see, we've got geometric forms which are going to be repeated 4 times. So one form is going to be repeated here, at the back, at that side, and at that side. And so when you've got the 4 forms together, which are all of them the same at the opposite side, you've got a new form, which is a big square. And then you are going to repeat it to make another form. So it's like that works the French garden by opposition of the English garden. And the French garden, you see, don't have any flowers inside the garden. The flowers are on the side of the garden, but they don't want you to lose the beauty of the geometry by the flowers. So that's why they don't put it inside. And the building which is here, which look like a house, it's not a house, it's an orangerie. Means that's where the Duke of Sully was putting his exotic trees like limes, lemon, olive, and of course orange tree, which were all in wood box. And during the winter, he was putting all these trees, sorry, into this house. And he built it like if it was a proper house because he wanted to have got a perfect harmony. And the Duke of Sully made a little entrance on the side. Oh, yes, 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 we can see the entrance. He made a little entrance on the side to be able to go to the Place des Vosges, at that time was named Place Royale, where his king, his lord king, was having his house. So he could directly entrance from his house to the Place des Vosges. What a privilege. Have a last look at the building from the view of the garden. Look at that, how beautiful it is by night. Ooh. This is the Hotel de Sully, the private mansion of Sully. Okay, if somebody don't like it, just tell it now. Okay, good. I have no opposition. It's absolutely gorgeous, no? And of course, nowadays it's light up with electricity, but you can imagine all that was light up with candles. And so every night, the people had to light up all the candles inside the house. So that's why they have got a lot of servants, because a lot of candle chandelier to light up every night to make the house light up like that. It's lovely. You see, it's very different when you make a visit by night and when you make a visit by day, and you don't have at all the same atmosphere and the same perception of the building by night, isn't it? So to finish the tour, because everything has to finish, we go to Place des Vosges and we enter like the Duke of Sully to go to see his Lord King. And you see the Place des Vosges was first a gallery where the ladies could walk and could be protected from the bad weather, like nowadays. They don't need to get an umbrella like me. Don't be stupid as me. They can walk under the gallery. The Place des Vosges is a square. So it means you've got four galleries like that, which are all linked at the corner and which are all going to go from east to south, south to west, west to north. I mean, you understand what I mean, okay? And you see, this is the absolutely beautiful gallery where you've got shop. So it means the ladies, when they were living here, they didn't need to go out of the Place des Vosges to go to see friends or to go to have a drink or to go shopping for some perfume or some books or some flowers or well, of course no vegetable or no fish or things like that. That the servants were going to the open air market. But here, of course, for the beautiful shop where they were going to do their shopping for decoration and things like that. And we still have got very expensive shop here, exactly like we had at that time. You see here, for instance, it's a shop for bags and accessories. Don't we are in the sales in Paris, so there's a lot of things which are on the sale. Art galleries, you see some beautiful artifact, very expensive, very still very chic. The Place des Vosges, the square meter here. If you buy a house here, the square meter, more or less 3 square feet, is in between 20 and 25,000 euro. Yes, my friends, 20 and 25,000 euro. And in the middle of the square, we do have the garden. We have the garden, which is going to be created not by Henry IV, who made the Place des Vosges, but by his son, Louis XIII, because Louis XIII is going to marry himself in the Place des Vosges, and he's going to, after his marriage, to change the garden to change the square into a garden, the Jardin Louis XIII. So here you've got the house of the Place des Vosges, and you are going to see that all the houses are exactly the same architecture, the same harmony architecture. So one house is four windows. You see, this is one house with the two small windows at the top and the two big one in the middle. And if you go down, that's one house. So it's exactly the same idea as the house we've seen before, but one floor upper because the king decided to put these galleries for the pleasures of the ladies. So the ground floor is a shop. The first floor is the place where you were receiving your friends. The second floor is the place where you were living, and the top floor is the place where the servants were living. Okay, Catherine, have a great time. And I'm going to send this weekend, I'm going to send the calendars to all the people who asked for. Okay? I was so busy that I couldn't, but I do that Friday. And have a great time, Catherine. Thank you to have been here with me and with us. Okay, so you see all the houses are the same. So the same architecture, the same vision, and the four part of the Place des Vosges. You see here you have to the corner, and the four alley or the four part of the square are always the same. So there is no visual difference. That's what makes this Place des Vosges something absolutely amazing. And inside, you've got a garden, a French garden, my friends, because you have got the trees which are all look poof perfectly in row. That's very typical from the French garden. You see, nothing is not the same distance. Everything has to be perfectly lined. And then you've got the garden. The garden is, again, one structure you see like that with a little tree. The opposite side, there is another structure which looks exactly like this one. There is a fountain in the middle, and that's going to make a big square. And that square is going to be repeated at each corner of the square. And you see here, in front of that, you've got all these magnificent houses, which are all of them built for the pleasure of the king and the queen, and that's all the people from the nobility who build the house to be by the queen and the king. And you see the house which is a little bit higher, that the house of the Queen Mary of Medici. And so one side of the place, house of Mary of Medici, in the center of the square, the whole statue of Louis XIII, because Louis XIII is the one who made the garden. And Louis XIII, he's pointing what? He's pointing the house of his father, Henry IV, and the house of Henry IV is the one you see at the opposite side. So you had in the Place des Vosges, at one side, at one entrance, the house of Henry IV, in the middle, the statue of Louis XIII, and in the back, the house of Mary de' Medici, the mother of Louis XIII. And at the corner over there, you had the house of Victor Hugo. So we're going to finish the visit, but there's something I haven't told you so far. I told you when we were in the church, please Google Bouddaloo. So maybe some of you did it. Bouddaloo. And I say he was a priest. That priest was making a speech, and that speech was so long. He was taking 3 hours, more or less, to make the speech. That the man had to go out in the middle of the speech to make a little pee outside of the church. That was easy for a man, just open and then go and make it. But for the ladies, how could they do that? Because they have got these wooden structure around the skirt, and they couldn't sit, and they couldn't take out this wooden structure was making the skirt like a kind of a balloon. I don't know how you call this in English, but this kind of a roundish structure in wooden. So they couldn't go to the loo because there was no loo, and they couldn't go in the street because they were going to be seen, and that's absolutely non-correct. So what were they doing? In fact, they had to invent a kind of chamber pot. That chamber pot is not going to be a round chamber pot that you sit on. It's going to be a chamber pot that hoop skirt. Thank you, Suzanne. It's going to be a chamber pot that they put in between their two legs, which have got a shape of like an overthere. So you see, they have got a little handle, and the rest is like a sauce, a sauce pot, to pour the sauce from the gravy. And so that was a little bit longer. And they were putting that in between their two legs, which was in fact covering the femininity part of the ladies, and they were pissing standing. They were making the pee standing. Then when they finished to make the pee, they were putting the pee down, and after they left, they were just pulling up the skirt, leaving the chamber pot on the floor, and then the servants were coming and were picking the chamber pot. And this chamber pot have been created, the shape of it has been created to be able to make a standing pee for the lady, and they have been named the Bouddaloo chamber pot. So if you Google Bouddaloo chamber pot, you will see some vintage one, which are in China, in that. Oh, you understand? Pot, pot. Potty. I know what potty, but you understand what I mean, I hope. I can't make you any. I'm not going to make you any demonstration of that. Okay. I'm not going but you get the idea, no? You get the idea. Sounds very useful. Yes, it was very useful, and but now that they do something like that for the ladies, okay? Because if you would do trekking or thing like that, they do exactly that. It's a bit smaller. They can put in the pants and with a tube on the bottle. So, my friends, we arrived to the end of the tour on this very cultural position. It was so very cultural, isn't it? High level. Sheepy, okay, I don't know. Anyway, my friends, so thank you to having with me. The two next tour you will have in January. I just said that for Linda. Linda, you have to go back to the newsletters and to see the two next tours, or you go to the YouTube channel and you will see all the tours which are programmed. Okay? So, or it was Linda or Lynn? I think it was Linda. Thank you, Linda. So you have to. You will see the next tour is about Mona Lisa. So the two next tour are going to be webinar for home. Okay. Yeah, it's different from yesterday, Tish, isn't it? And the next tour is about Mona Lisa. And after that, it's going to be about cooking croque monsieur at home. Oh, that's always fabulous. And I will program some more tour, of course, in February. And you will receive my newsletters by the end of January. And you will have got all the date of the tour for February. In the meanwhile, I wish you a very, very nice afternoon, morning, evening, night, depends where you are. For me, it's the late evening, so I go back home because I'm a little bit cold and a little bit wet after being in the streets. So take great care of yourself. Thank you so much to having with me. Don't forget to tell your friends. Oh, what's that? Don't forget to tell your friends to come in the tour. More we will be, more it will be nice. Where do you sign up? Enjoy your evening. Sorry, I didn't say where did you, for the question, for the newsletters. So Delos, send me your email, okay? Give me your email. You can put it on if you've got my email address, le Paris de Patrick period guide dot gmail period com, le Paris de Patrick. You can send it to my you send me an email and I will have got your email. If I maybe already have got it, I don't know, Delos. But if I don't, send it to me and I will send you the next newsletters. And also follow up the Instagram or the YouTube, and you get also the you will get the notice. Okay, my dear friends, it was a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed these two tours by night. One in Montmartre, one in Le Marais. I like to do this tour in winter because in winter we can be at the night. The only thing sometimes the weather condition is not fabulous, and so sometimes it's a bit difficult for me to give you a perfect tour due to the rain or the cold. But anyway, we could do it. I'm very happy for that. Take care of yourself. See you very soon for a Mona Lisa tour from home. Thank you so much and have a great evening. Bye bye.